guys. A huge Texan win kind of makes me want to do things a little differently. So welcome my son, math whiz kid Brady. You guys go ahead and shout out two numbers between 23 and 492, and he can calculate them immediately. So let's hear him.
How about 41 and 296?
I know that one.
Oh, you should know that one. That's easy. Come on.
No.
Are you being serious or are you being silly? If you're from Harvard Admissions and you're watching right now, I just want you to know that this is just a little game that Brady likes to play where he pretends he doesn't know the answer, and I pretend that I'm going to send him back to boarding school for 3 more years if he embarrasses me on national television. Is that right, Brady?
12,136.
Oh, he's just so smart. Oh, my angel-brained little boy. Oh, I never had a doubt. Okay, now, here's a tough one. What time does the box score start?
Right now.
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple. C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you.
Because I probably am.
Howard Collins for box score.
Hello and welcome to the Box Score. I'm Brock in Los Angeles, joined by the Danettes in New York City. They took a midweek trip out there to hang out with their boy, Darius Rucker. Paulie, what are the chances that Darius gets his Grammy back that he loaned the man cave?
Wow, that's a great question because I'm going to put odds on it. He's going to obviously have to come to us. It's kind of like Reggie Bush's Heisman. We're going to hold on to it for dear life. Oh, there it is. Yeah. He brought a really good one, too. He's only got 3. I thought he had more than 3. Yeah. He did say on air that this is a loan. Sources tell me that Dan may be trying to edit out that audio and video, so it's just a...
You know what? His decision to bring that in and thinking that he was getting it back was such a poor decision that it made me question if he actually knows Dan at all, really, or if that was just a bit for the show.
I do feel bad for him because he's a very successful guy, and now he's given up one of his Grammys forever.
Right, yeah. I mean, he's not getting that back unless he comes here and steals it.
Yes.
I just don't see Dan ever giving that back.
I actually advised him to call the great baseball player Harold Reynolds, and Harold could advise him about one of his Gold Gloves. Harold will never, ever get the only way Harold will see that if he comes to visit it in the studio.
Right.
And Darius is welcome to visit this, but he's never taken it back without force.
Without a court order. Seton, what do you think it would have been like to be on stage with Kiss in full makeup and Tupac?
Like the best thing ever. I couldn't imagine anything better than winning a Grammy and having it be Tupac and the members of Kiss in makeup. Like, what's up, fellas? Yeah, I just won this. And especially because it's for such, you know, I mean, it couldn't be more opposite of what those two artists do.
Right.
Yeah. It couldn't be more opposite.
I love when you watch those award shows, and I think it was the Grammys as well one time, or the MTV Music Awards, and they had Busta Rhymes and Martha Stewart. And I was like, that's great. And I think Jon Stewart was hosting, and Jon Stewart goes, here's a woman who knows about pot roast, and here's a guy who's roasted on pot. Martha Stewart, and I was like, what a great line. And so I love those combos.
Well, that award's not going anywhere, and it wasn't long before Dan figured out a new way to use his clever new toy.
We're going to drink out of this today. Paulie?
Yeah, we can do shots. And also, like the Stanley Cup, can each of the Danettes have it and take it back to our hometowns for the day?
Sure, as long as I get it back in a year. Here we go. You're drinking out of my Grammy. Yeah, that tastes like Gene Simmons. And you would know. I do love Kiss.
Oh my God, unbelievable. So Dan, and I love Darius, by the way. Darius singing was awesome. Darius got a Seton-like laugh. It is just contagious.
Oh, man.
I was in the best mood. He was like, he had one-liners. I'm like, this is the coolest person I've ever met. He knew my name. He came in and said, what's up, McLovin?
He's definitely first team all laughing.
Yeah.
That
no
could
doubt
be,
about that.
you know, if Darius ever falls on hard times, and I doubt it, but, you know, Seton, he could learn that board and some other technical skills. So you could
I'm
be
out.
Danger.
I'm gone.
Yeah.
Gone.
Yeah, if he runs through all those millions of dollars, I think he could definitely.
Right, or he loses his talent.
Yeah, he just gets really bored, I guess,
Yeah.
and wants to run bored on it.
Seton, you were talking about it at the end of the show. Did you get a chance to drink out of the Grammy yet?
I haven't. No, I haven't. And I'm still a little under the weather, so I'm trying not to, like, you know, do anything that would cause germs to get anywhere. But I'm definitely going to do a shot out of that at some point.
I'm also want to borrow this because I don't have, as you know, I don't have a lot of awards for anything in my house. I borrowed some awards from people for like parties. I would love to put this on my desk and just have people think that maybe I had something to do with someone who had a Grammy, or I could just make up a bunch of stories, which I'm known to do.
This great paperweight.
Yeah.
Well, Darius brought more than gifts. He brought stories about partying with DP on the road.
We're in Glasgow, and Sony, our drummer, was always really in shape because he was a soccer player. And so every night, it was so hot in these bars that he would take his shirt off. And so Dan had on khakis and a button-down shirt, and Sony takes his shirt off, and we're jamming, and we're in the middle of the song, and I look over to my right, and Dan is totally sure. He took his shirt off, and all I see is white. It's like Christmas morning in Canada, and all I see is white. And I can't play. I'm laughing so hard I can't sing. I'm just on one knee laughing. It was just, and he's just getting it too. He's just dancing.
I'm jamming. I'm rocking in the free world, you know?
That's a great story, and I think we've heard that story a few times from Dan, but I was hoping Darius could tell it. If you saw right before that, I asked Darius, I go, is there one story you can give us that's relatively tame? And he went right with it, so I was glad we got his side of those events.
Oh, I want to hear the non-tame ones, though. Off camera someday, that tour.
Can you imagine Dan? I think he was maybe 42, 43 when this happened. He got like 3 weeks off from work, literally. Talked to his family and let him go to Scotland and drive around Europe with these guys, which they were in their prime.
Right.
They were really famous back then, mid-90s. And he was rolling around with Hootie and the Blowfish for 3 weeks. I mean, we think Dan is fun
So
when
rad.
we go out with him. That could have been all-timer.
McLovin, I know you're a Sha Na Na guy, but hearing that story about Hootie and the Blowfish, does that move them up on the bands that you would want to go on tour with?
Oh my God, that would have been amazing. And the music is fun. Everything would be awesome about that. I'm just not a tour guy. I don't know. That was part of the whole
What about
thing.
like 20-year-old, 21-year-old McLovin?
Could I have been on a music tour?
Like
I would have burned out fast.
Mannheim Steamroller? Or what
Yeah,
kind of?
I would have burned out pretty fast, I think. You know, also too, the bands I liked were not like epic party bands. Like,
Mannheim Steamroller.
yeah,
Like Edie Brickell, early Edie Brickell, when you've gone on tour with her?
To be one of the new Bohemians.
Oh, and hang out with Paul Simon. I'm much taller than Paul Simon.
Who cares? That's good. You dominate that tour bus.
Yeah, no, I definitely like an Indigo Girls tour. I mean, that would have been pretty cool.
Yeah, knitting.
Sort of Lilith Fair.
Yeah.
It'd be you and Sarah McLachlan.
It'd be
kicking
Sarah
it, sharing
McLachlan.
bunk.
My wife gets mad at me whenever Amy Mann songs come on, but she knows I'm in love with Amy Mann. So
wow,
that's weird. Can you edit that out?
No.
What?
No, that you wanted to go on tour with Josh Groban. We don't need to do that. You can't have Darius in
I get
studio
compared to him physically a lot.
without doing a live performance. And before he wrapped things up, he left you guys with this classic.
Stat of the day, stat of the day. Here comes the stat of the day, stat of the day, stat of the day. Here comes the stat of the day.
What do they call it, the bridge?
So great. I love it. I love this catalog of Stat of the Day songs we're building. I actually have a whole bunch of ones that we've never aired before that people sent in. That when the Stat of the Day theme song from Josta, that just kind of took over. And then Burgundy sort of gave it new life. And now maybe we can get back into, with Darius opening the door to a country version, maybe we could try and get a little hip hop going next. You know, I mean, we always have Ice Cube on. Maybe he would do one.
Yeah,
or-
2 Chainz. I like both of the Chains. They're very talented young men.
One better than the other.
Yeah, I like the younger Chain. I think we have a situation here that could be interesting how we fix this. Stat of the Day needs like a start, kind of a bed in the middle, and then an end. We have no bed there because of Darius Rucker. I'm nominating young Seton O'Connor to fill in the bed
I could do that.
acoustically, which he can.
Yeah.
And then you would share writing credit on that? Would you-
I think it'd be another collaboration.
Yeah.
And luckily, as Darius has said, he's not like that great of a guitar player, and it turns out neither am I. So
was thinking the same
we're
thing.
going to work perfectly together on this.
Paulie, are you going to let Rich Eisen have this version of Stat of the Day as well?
Yeah, no.
Sorry, Rich.
Sorry, no award for Darius and no Stat of the Day for Rich Eisen. Coming up, Fritzy is gone for the second day in a row, but we will have a surprise guest to fill in for him after this. We are back here on the box score. Unfortunately, Todd Fritz is not available today just to ramble on. The guys are in New York City, plenty of TV stars, movie stars, music stars to choose from. Paulie says he has some real gravitas to bring in on this segment. Paulie, what do you have for us?
Big box score exclusive, but let's bring in Nick Taylor, known as Nick the Cameraman. Come on in, Nick.
All right.
Nick has been,
welcome to the show.
Nick
Great
has
to be
been
here
with
with you
us
guys.
for about almost 2 years. He's 5'9".
4 years, but-
Yeah, 5'9" and 3/4.
Yep, 3/4.
Good kid. Now, Nick, you are one of the technical directors, studio managers of the show.
like
When
a
you have
desk
the
bed.
New York show and you do have to do well, Darius Rucker at his mic, Rich Eisen on the big screen, dealing with that. What is the toughest part of doing all that when Dan is in the room?
Looking busy while everybody else is doing it. That's probably the toughest part. Just looking like you know where you're going and what you're doing.
I relate to that.
Yeah.
Now, you've been here actually quite a while. You've been here almost 4 years.
Yeah.
And in a serious note, when you get yelled at by Dan Patrick, and it's not often, do you kind of shut it down or do you hit the gas? How do you deal with that? We all deal with it.
Shut it right down. Just shut it right down.
Just go into the back room and
hide your
cry it
head,
out.
That's
tail
why you're
between the
backroom
legs.
guy.
Yep.
All right, Nick, question. Of the 4 Danettes, from a backroom guy perspective, who is the highest maintenance?
All of you. I don't know.
Be honest.
I couldn't put a title on it. Well, Andy comes in the back every day, and this is real, inside. But so we have a refrigerator in the back, and Andy comes in the back every single day, and he either spills his coffee or spills the milk all over the inside of the refrigerator.
Oh, except the one time that you blame me,
Yeah,
and it wasn't me, it was Alan.
it was. If Alan.
Alan, the technical guy.
Wow.
Okay, another question. Now, the backroom guys here and in Milford, do they all hate me equally, or is it on different levels?
All equally, all just a huge disdain for Paul Pabst.
Oh, but Paulie doesn't spill his milk once and then becomes a huge deal.
Well, that's a separate issue.
Now, Seton is kind of a hybrid. He kind of has the feel of a backroom guy because he's tight with you guys, but he's technically a Danette full time.
Yeah, it seems a tough one, but yeah, I mean, he can hang with the backroom guys, but when he's a Danette, he's a Danette.
Yeah, I'm a Danette all the way.
Yeah.
Sometimes I slip into Danette mode, and I'm a real jerk to the backroom guys.
Sure.
It happens.
That's the definition of a Danette, just a jerk to the backroom guys.
Yeah.
Now, you've been here a long time, and you've gone out socially with a lot of the Danettes.
Yeah, I knew
Who
this
would
was
you
coming.
say is more of like a trotter who can go long distances? Who's more of a sprinter?
Long distance runner right there.
Right.
I would have to, depends if Fritzy might be a sprinter if he's had a few glasses of wine in him, but
She's never had.
there's been a few times that, that just amazing dinners that we've had with Todd Fritz with a few glasses of wine.
Before we
in 'em.
throw it
Now,
back to Brock, go ahead.
Speaking of sprinting, the last time I saw you last night, you were running
Guys,
down
thanks for
9th
having me.
Avenue.
It's been a blast.
That was Nick, Nick the cameraman.
Were you running home to get some rest for the show today?
That was Nick the cameraman, everybody. Brock, back to you, buddy.
Nick, an amazing story, has overcome so many academic challenges in his life. Stick around, McLovin has a bone to pick with college football and takes it to the next level, sort of.
I haven't seen you this angry in a long time.
I hate college football right now.
Okay, McLovin has his special commentary coming up. I will yield the microphone to McLovin. It's good. You know what? I'll even bring you up here to the big stage. I'm going to take you out of the back row and let you come up to the big stage.
We are back here on the box score. McLovin, you came into the studio firing with both guns. You were really fired up over this college football playoff situation. And then Dan let you come up and sit at the adults table today. So fired up, you even started tweeting about all of this. And the boss even gave you some extra time to prepare all of this. How do you think you did, buddy?
I was pretty good. I had one logistical problem. I made my argument in the morning, then Pat Forty came on and made a much more eloquent, well-reasoned argument in the 9:20 Eastern segment. So that kind of put me behind the 8 ball. So I had to dig deeper, and the more facts I got into, the more Dan sort of fell asleep, as I recall.
He may have snoozed. Well, here it is, the moment all of humanity has been waiting for all of their lives.
If Baylor beats Kansas State this weekend, which is a huge if, by the way, because Bryce Petty banged up, and they end up ranked below TCU, then the playoff selection committee should immediately fold, and they should just use the Associated Press next year.
Are you making eye contact with the
I don't know. Should I look at you or the camera?
No, the camera.
Okay. So how is TCU ahead of Baylor? We know head-to-head Baylor beat BCU. Strength of schedule, everyone's talking about the fact that TCU beat Minnesota and Baylor beat Buffalo. That's the only different opponent they have. You're telling me that is a lot bigger than head-to-head? Head-to-head should overwhelm strength of schedule. Now, style points. They say they don't take style points into effect, but this is all about Baylor almost losing to Texas Tech. That's just because the quarterback was hurt. Style points are for ice skating, Dan, not college football. And lastly, Ohio State should never be ahead of Baylor. Baylor has a harder strength of schedule. Dan, stay with me here. I'm going to tell you why the committee is against Baylor. This is not. Dan, if you're listening on radio, Dan has just fallen asleep.
I'm really proud of Andrew for doing that.
Thank you.
I think it's really a banner moment getting invited up to the big table here on the Dan Patrick Show. It felt like taking against the grain and making it as important as like the State of the Union.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was epic. It was
By
absolutely
the way,
awesome.
did you guys notice I said if you're listening on radio, a trick that I've
Yes.
learned, describe for the radio what is happening.
Paint the picture.
Paint the picture.
It was a good moment for Andrew. Now, the content was, it was sparse a little how it was delivered.
A little dry.
Well, but I like college football and you like good stuff. But what you could do with this whole thing is take a screen cap of you and Dan
I
basically
know.
co-host the show, and you could put that like 4 feet by 4 feet on the wall of your apartment. No one's going to know how you're up there, what it was about.
Yeah, I know. People will be like, Keith and Dan, McLovin and Dan.
Right.
That was really, that's funny you say that, because right afterwards I said, oh, why didn't I have someone take a nice picture of us sitting up
We
there?
have people that could do that if you talk to them nicely. They can get a screen cap of that.
But I need really high res, because I'm going to blow it up like life size.
Yeah, we don't have that.
I think we need to do more of this. No joke. There's something about only here, right?
Coming up here to present your argument?
You talking football up here with Dan, legit discussion.
Dude.
I think we really should think about doing more of it.
But I think you could open it up, because let's say you said that Kurt Cobain is the greatest lead frontman of all time, and that was your point. You come up and you can go crossfire with Dan, and we could sit back and let it happen. I like
crossfire segments.
Yeah.
This is great.
Kind of PTI,
Yeah.
kind of like.
Yeah, PTY.
I don't know how Dan feels about all this.
Well, McAmbian, for the second day in a row, you dropped the "I don't know" to a reference when the boss asked you how to fix something. Are you taking Paulie's advice seriously and making that part of your brand now?
The last thing I wanted to ask you is, so what are you going to do? I'm like, first of all, by the way, anyone who follows college football knows that nobody has an answer for what to do. I don't care if you're Pat Forty, Stuart Mandel, Andy Staples. There isn't a single person in the sport or outside of the sport that has the slightest clue how to name a national champion. So you're going to ask me? No way did I have an answer there.
Maybe next time. Don't go away. We are going to smack it, flip it, and rub it down here on the box score. That's all next.
Welcome to a very special coffee break with McLovin. I'm here with Darius Rucker, former lead singer of Hootie and the Blowfish. Now, Darius, I'm not sure what you've been up to lately, but I've got a new direction for you. We need a theme song for Coffee Break. All great shows have theme songs. I think this could be like the Cheers theme song, Friends. Are you down?
I'm down. Of course, I'm down.
All right, now I wrote some lyrics. This is a different direction for you, but see if you can bear with me.
All right.
And now I'll start and tell me, if you feel it, jump in. That's all I'm going to say.
All right.
All right, ready? With a little McLovin and some coffee beans, we'll add some water. You follow me so far? We'll clean up the mess with a little coffee and some sweetener. We'll take a little break. Take the cup by my hand.
Yo, I got it. Because I got a coffee for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I want to drink coffee with you.
Not together. Hold my coffee.
I'll take you to Dunkin' Donuts for some more.
Hold my coffee. Wait, are we still doing choral?
Yeah. Because, I'm answering you back. That's what it's supposed
Let's
to
just
be.
get the last line.
Anything you want to drink,
I want the coffee to be the best that
it can.
I think we got it.
I think that's a hit.
Were we recording on that?
That's a hit.
Welcome back to the box score. What do you think about that, Bernie?
Coffee for you.
Oh, my land.
Oh, my goodness.
McLovin, that was outstanding.
I've never
What was it
seen
like
that.
singing with Darius or singing to Darius?
Oh, I blocked that out of my memory. I feel so bad. He's such a good dude, and that was just not fair.
Brock, I wish you could have saw McLovin's reaction when you started playing that. He goes, "Oh my God, what did I do to this nice person?
Yeah.
Why would I make a great singer do this?" He took his
earpiece out and walked away because he couldn't even look her.
I'm really humiliated because he's such a class act.
McLovin is in great pain right
Oh,
now.
wow.
Very constipated. Could be gas. Could be abdominal pain. I'm not sure what's going on here. McLovin, how are you feeling at that point?
That might be the most embarrassed I've been. And it was just so lame, too.
It's weird. Sometimes you have guests who are very playful and want to do things like Jim Parsons and Darius Rucker. They're so polite, so nice and friendly, and friends with us that when you ask them to do something, you got to almost check yourself that you don't ask them to do something that's too much, and like that. And so, like when you have Jim Parsons on, you're like, anything we ask him to do, he's going to say yes. Same with Darius Rucker. So you almost have to check yourself and say like, hey, don't step on their toes and put them in a bad spot where they can't say no.
See,
Thanks,
which
Paul.
is
That makes me
worse?
feel
Is this
better.
worse?
Other than that.
Fritzy
Thanks, buddy.
hugging the supermodels or McLovin singing to Darius?
Oh dear. You know, Fritzy hugging supermodels is pretty awful.
It's hard for them to shake off.
Yeah, that's
awful for everybody.
That's awful, yeah, on a lot of different levels. However, McLovin's coffee break with Darius. Oh boy, it was tremendous though. I loved it. I loved it.
Bad way.
Paul, you didn't exactly record with Darius. Jealous?
How about we bring Nick back out here for a last segment? Is he available? Can he drop
Nick the
something on his way
cameraman.
in?
Yeah, Nick the
Oh,
cameraman.
hey, Nick. Welcome back. Appearance number 2.
He
Nick
just did a
Taylor.
party pop. He's
How
all
are
pumped
ya?
up.
Can't believe I was invited back.
All right, tattooed man. Who's on tomorrow? Do you have any idea?
No idea.
All right, thank you. Okay.
All right, there goes Nick.
That was Nick, everyone. Thanks for watching The Box Score. You can catch us tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern right here on Audience Network, home of The Dan Patrick Show, Rich Eisen Show, and, of course, The Box Score.
That was good video.
Be good out there.
Nick, when you're hosting the X Games,
I don't know a lot about sports, but I can drink a lot of beer.
My motto is simple. C's get degrees.
Need a long, inappropriate hug? I'm your man.
I think I'm smarter than you because I probably am.
Hey, thanks for watching The Box Score. Holy cow!